happy Thanksgiving, or if you're not into that kind of thing, happy November 29th, 2013. Gosh, it's awesome to be back because, you know, you start doing the show, JP, maybe you could relate with me. I feel like you can. I know you do. You start doing the show, and then shit just builds up in your head as you're playing these games, and you have to have a show to get it all out. It happened during EG. It's been happening with 8-bits, and so it feels good. Even after putting myself into a pretty severe food coma yesterday. Pretty severe, man. I was like the first one out. I knew it. I was loading up my plate, and I just knew. I was like, I'm a beer and a half in. I'm going to finish this beer. I'm going to eat all this.
A beer and a half in? And that's what filled you up, was the beer?
No. I just knew that it was going to be eat. Like, and then I was going to pass out. So, of course, football's on and just sit down on the couch and woke up a little bit later, played some games, chilled. You know, it was definitely a chill Thanksgiving day over here.
That's good.
So, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I slow cooked my way to Thanksgiving dinner at 11 o'clock. Had a stewing for 8 hours.
I saw your tweets. And was it glorious?
It was pretty good. I think the meal was solidified by these. I bought these little. They said they were tea biscuits. I don't.
What?
I've never heard
salty, like little.
No, they're
just
crackers? Like little biscuits.
Oh,
they're just like normal biscuits. They're like this big, and I put them in the oven, made them whatever, and then I got creative. The chef in me started speaking, and I made some honey butter. And that stole the dinner
show.
Away.
Yeah, get some inspiration from that cornbread.
Do what?
Some inspiration from that cornbread.
It was, yeah, I was inspired from that cornbread. I think the butter that I used was too light though, because the honey butter was really whipped. I was mixing it too much, so I ate too much. I got pretty sick.
Well, and did you like fall asleep, or did you? You know,
no, I was up till like 5 a.m.
Oh, well, you know, I
felt like complete. Butter is a very dangerous thing for me. Wheat.
Is it?
Yeah. Like I remember when I was a young kid, but I could tell a story. I was I think my mom made me pancakes. My brother was, I can tie this back to gaming too. My brother was playing Resident Evil 1 on the PS1.
Great game.
Yeah, it's an amazing game. And as I'm sitting there watching him play, I had so much butter on this pancake that if you took the fork and pushed it down on the pancake,
butter would rise.
Butter would ooze out of it, right? And as I'm eating, I'm like, oh, this is fucking fantastic. And like 2 hours later, I'm throwing up on my brother playing Resident Evil.
It's a 4D experience, bro.
Oh, man. So
that's pretty nasty.
So, yeah.
Here we are. So now it's a day of leftovers.
Butter, guys.
Yeah, day of leftovers and gaming for us. There's football on. The Huskers are playing. I don't care. I actually don't care. But, you know. So, yeah. And it's been an awesome couple of weeks. Of course, we've had some good releases. We've had the new console releases. You've had a chance to dive into both, which I'm really excited to talk about. So I think what we're going to do today is we were talking about it before. JP's like, dude, we could just talk about all this stuff for the whole show, but we're gonna kind of separate it. So let's talk about anything that's not PS4 or Xbox One first, and then we'll go into everything else. So we just got live, so welcome to the show if you just joined us. We've got a lot to talk about here and a lot of catching up to do. So I mean, I guess I'll kick off because
what have you been playing that's not PS4 and Xbox? Probably some mobile stuff.
So definitely some mobile stuff, but I want to really quickly touch on Rogue Legacy because I know I'm late to the party. You played this a while ago. You've talked about it a couple times on 8-bits.
I ended up beating it.
And for whatever reason, JP, like Thanksgiving always ends up being this play some games you've never played before day because, you know, family's over. I'm not really looking to commit any time. So I'll just be like, well, fuck it, man. I see Rogue Legacy sitting here. I'm going to play that. And it's just like I want to shoot myself because I'm like, why didn't I play this earlier now? A lot of fun. I like the presentation of it. It's really witty, too. But it's fantastic. And, of course, the reason I mention this, too, is because the autumn sale is going on for Steam right now. And I think that you want to maybe go and well, that's not what I wanted you to look at. I want you to maybe look at that. There we go. Man,
Nice
there it goes.
Justin TV calendar.
You just, yeah, you know, it is what it is. So, I think this just changed too, right? It hasn't refreshed on my end, which I should probably do that. But you can get a lot of good stuff for cheap. Oh, look at that! Dishonored for $3.19. Wait, do I own this already?
Have you played Dishonored? Dishonored's a fucking amazing game, dude.
Yeah.
I'd buy that.
Oh, I already own Dishonored. Now I'm embarrassed.
92% off. Are you kidding me?
Now
what the hell?
Well, if I didn't own it, I would be buying it. Oh,
Saints Row 4 for $20. That's pretty good.
Call of Duty Ghosts, 17% off.
I saw that there, and I was like, wait a minute. This thing's probably full price.
Fucking, yeah, I mean,
all right,
whatever.
guys, we can give them $10 off for this fucking terrible game.
Oh, shit. That's too funny.
Oh, man. BioShock Infinite for 10. It's pretty good.
Yeah, there's some good stuff up there. So, but Rogue Legacy's great, and I like it a lot. I might stream a little bit of that, but it's.
I will
it's
word of advice: do not buy Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 Platinum for $6. It's not. I bought it last year. Don't do it. That's a bad call.
Oh,
it's a bad call.
Is it really not that good?
I mean, my childhood memories of playing Roller Coaster Tycoon forgot the fact that it's a game that was made in like 1999, so the control scheme is god awful.
Of course.
Just not fun to play. And so I just didn't. I lasted 5 minutes on stream, and it's just like this. I'm not playing it. It's too terrible to play.
I got you. Yeah, I totally understand about that.
Wow, Counter-Strike Go though for $3.
You should get on that. Even with the new drops and stuff, it's not bad. It's fun to hop into every once in a while.
Yep, seems experiencing heavy load.
But as far as let me bring up their webpage. As far as mobile stuff, I've talked about Kingdom Rush before. I think right around the early episodes I talked a little bit about the sequel coming out as Kingdom Rush Frontiers, and just recently released is Tower Dwellers. And there's a couple of great things about this game. It is iOS. I do not believe they have an Android version out yet. First off, you know, JP, it's kind of like a rare gem, but it has no IAP, right? So you buy the game for $3.99, and then they don't ever try to tell you that you've got to pay extra for this or that. And that's a little annoying with some of these mobile games where I feel like, hey, if I'm going to spend $2.99, $3.99 on it, I don't want you to nickel and dime me in the game. That's fucking stupid. So anyway, it's a really, really great tower defense game that adds a little bit more to Kingdom Rush. And one of the reasons I like Kingdom Rush is the art style, the sort of the way the way that the actual gameplay works, and also the progression throughout the game. What they do a little bit differently about this one, and maybe I can kind of show from like one of these pictures, is you have these main towers that you build, and they start off as just average towers. And then as you add these sort of supplement towers to them or supplement buildings, they change what they do. So you could put a blacksmith here that's like a guy with a sword and a shield, and then you could put an archer, and then they sort of become a guy with long-range attacks that can also do melee attacks as well. Or you can make battle mages that way, or you can make 3 of the same type, and they become the most powerful version of that guy with the sword and shield. Now, what this does is it makes it a ridiculously complex tower defense game. Now, I've always been a fan of these, and so if you've ever played Kingdom Rush or you've liked tower defense, and there's a lot of shit out there, JP, a lot of shitty shit tower defense games, a lot of them. This is definitely worth the $3.99, and I give the hats off to these guys. They did a good job with the game. If you played Kingdom Rush, it's great. Check it out. It's definitely worth the money. If you like tower defense, you want a game that's not total crap.
Is it made by these same people that made?
Oh, it's not. It's not.
Okay,
so it's a good example.
Very similar, but
yeah, it very similar, but their own art style. So it's a good example of like they took something that they obviously recognize as being good and successful, and they said, how can we make it our own? So it's not a just copy paste of this at all. It's
Gotcha.
it's a nice little title. So yeah. What about you? Non PS4 and Xbox One.
Well, I guess we could just talk about the best games of the year, and it's on the Wii U and the 3DS. It's fucking Bizarro World.
Oh, is this
I mean,
where
not really. I guess it's first party stuff, but I'm trying to think if there's something else that I've played before those games.
Can I tell my story about fuck you, JP?
Yeah, if you want to.
So,
JP
outside the show, chit-chatting in Skype, and JP links me this article. And see, what happens is that usually I rarely get a link from JP that I don't act on, right? Like, hey, there's a deal here or a sale here or whatever, and he sends me this link that goes to NeoGAF that says, hey, Target is having the sale on 3DS's XLs.
I just opened that thread for some reason as well.
And so what does JP do, knowing that I've been talking about maybe getting Zelda, because he talks so highly of it? I was like, JP, fuck you. By the time 8-Bits airs, watch. I'll have a fucking 3DS in my hand. I'll be like, what the hell? And I couldn't find the Zelda bundle. But JP, fuck you. You son of a bitch. They had 1 million of these for 150, and it was about time. So it's all your fault. This one.
Which games did you get?
Well, just Zelda for now, because I mean, mini-wheat has everything else, right?
Sure.
So I could just play Pokemon or whatever, Animal Crossing, etc.
How crazy was Target?
So I did not go. I went this morning. I woke up. I looked at the NeoGAF thread. I went to the last page. People are like, yep. I went to Target. They didn't have the Zelda one. I was fine with that. I still took the good deal. He confirmed that none of the other Targets in town had them. I could have gone out there and froze my fucking ass off and been a dipshit in a tent, but JP, no. I woke up at 8 o'clock, went out with my wife, got a cup of coffee, walked in. The Zelda one's not here. That sucks. It's not fucking yellow. Let me get the red one. Peace. I'm out. Same deal. Good to go. I enjoyed my Thanksgiving. So that's my story about. And now I'm equipped. It's charging upstairs. I'm ready to go in, JP.
Good stuff.
I'll be thinking about how much I hate you every second along the way.
I guess we could start the show with the showstopper. The funny thing is, I can never remember. I always stumble and question myself if I'm saying the game name right. Zelda: A Link Between Two Worlds. Is that accurate?
A Link Between Worlds, I think. A Link Between. So you're adding 2.
Oh. Okay.
You're adding 2.
Okay.
Yes. I'm looking at the official site.
I think it speaks a lot. I don't even need to say anymore. At least if you're if you watched previous shows, this is probably the first 3DS game I'll ever finish, and probably the last.
I give you an applause, JP.
It's too good.
It's so great, right? Because people have been asking for this for so long, and they deliver, and everything. It sounds just amazing about it. So
it was funny too, because when it was announced, people were just like, "What the fuck is this? Like, is this a joke? Is Nintendo? Are they really like preying on our childhood memories of these amazing games with these god awful remakes, et cetera, et cetera?" Then it came out, and people are just like, they're blown away with how good it is. How much do you know about the game and its mechanics and all that stuff?
So
do you know a good deal?
I know what I've seen in the videos about the whole, become sort of on the 2D plane, but still wandering in the 3D world. I know that it has some connection to A Link to the Past, which is arguably one of the best Zeldas ever made. I mean, I don't really even like to rank them because I think that every Zelda's been a great experience, some higher than others, but I think that that one, at the period of time, JP, in which I played it, how old I was, that game was freaking amazing. So I have a lot of childhood memories about this game in particular. Probably one of the reasons why you see the price drop on the XL. My kid's got a 3DS. I could have played it on there, but I was like, this, you know, I heard nothing but amazing things. Like, why wouldn't I jump on it? So that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know if it's a true sequel, if it's a prequel, if it's a alternate. I don't know any of that. I've tried to stay pretty.
I'll try to not speak to the story, so I don't, because I think for me one of the best things about the game is like going back to that world, and Nintendo does a very good / cruel job of including little things like audio cues, which were in the original Link to the Past, and when they happen, you're taken. At least I was kind of blown away with like how crazy my memory is to be able to remember something like that, and then how awesome it is that they put it in a game that is basically the same game pretty much, except for the fact that so a lot of people, there was actually a post on NeoGAF that was saying that they kind of take the Zelda formula and throw it out the window in this. And as someone who, multiple times I've said this, does not enjoy handheld games simply because they try to do things that console, like full AAA title console games are doing, in terms of like a leveling up system and all that nonsense. I always struggle with it on the 3DS. So what Zelda does is the dungeons are different in the sense that before you ever step foot in a dungeon, there is a icon, pretty distinguishable on the outside of what weapon you need before you go inside. So you don't find weapons in dungeons anymore.
Right.
You actually rent the weapons from Ravio, which is some random character that I'm sure he's tied into the story, blah, blah, blah. And so you can rent all of the weapons before you ever step foot in the first dungeon.
If you die, though, if
you die, they go away.
You go away, which is kind of a cool approach to it all.
Right. Eventually, though, after about probably hour, 2 hours in the game, you can buy the weapons instead of renting them. So you buy them once. Granted, they're a lot more, and it takes some time to get the rubies for it. But I think it's a cool formula. Like, I died a couple times and lost a couple of the items. It wasn't too much of a setback. I didn't have to farm for rubies or anything like that because they were pretty generous with them. And the game is not hard by any means, but it is learning what the enemies do because they are quite varied and how you actually have to approach them and whatnot. I did find that the best strategy, and this was kind of upsetting to me, was on one of the mini bosses in a dungeon last night, was walking in the room, not moving at all, and just spamming B, which is attack, and that beat the mini boss. Any other way that I did it was actually like 10, 100 times harder, because they would hit you for 3 hearts or whatever, and you only have like 7 or 8 at this point. So that was a little bit upsetting, I guess, but maybe I just got lucky and found out the proper way to do it. But the dungeon design in this game is so fucking smart. I am blown away with how clever they are with a lot of the puzzles. And that's from using the 2D Link, where you can walk up to any wall, and if you press A, he like goes into the wall as if he's a painting on the wall. And then you can traverse, as long as there's nothing in the way, left or right, and kind of walk your way around the room. So, for example, if there's a prison bar, you can get on the wall and then just walk right past the prison bar and come up on the other side. And it also does really good usage of the 3D. There was a dungeon that I was in, and it had you jumping. You walked in, and you were at the top of this mountain, and you were at the very top. And if you turn the 3D on, you saw these platforms moving, but they're on different levels. So it was like
interesting.
It's like 12 levels, and so you have to time your jump with the platform you're on that's moving to the platform on the bottom that's below you. And if you actually don't have the 3D on, it was kind of annoying because you couldn't actually, like, having that type of depth really actually adds to it.
Well, I heard you or saw you comment on how you really were impressed with the 3D overall, right? Is that one of the reasons? What was it, because of the clever use of it that way, or is it just overall?
I think just overall, like, there's no slow motion bullshit where something's like flying out at the screen or anything like that, right? It's not cheap 3D.
It's all in its presentation rather than
right.
Yeah, right.
Like that, I think the game does a lot with walking into a room and seeing 4 different levels.
Yeah, that's awesome to me.
Like depth in one single room, and when that happens, you're kind of taken aback because as your mind is like playing a Zelda game, you're realizing that you actually have to solve whatever's in this room, and you're seeing 4 different planes of not existence, but of depth, and it's kind of mind blowing in that sense. But I've only done, I think I've done 1 Dark World dungeon, and that's the other thing too, Weed, is that there's no planned course of action. What is that, by the way?
Dude, sorry. Upstairs they made bacon wrapped sausage, and I'm like,
that looks pretty good.
I have to try it. So
yeah, try it.
Keep going.
No.
I can't wait to play this game. I haven't even touched it yet. I'm charging my, so.
So yeah, I've only done 1 dungeon, and there's no like path in the game. You can go to whatever dungeon you want. So that has me interested for replayability, because I don't know, like, it's good. I don't know if like I don't know, like, I did the first dungeon I did was the thief dungeon in the Dark World, which people can tell me in the chat, I think that's like the normal go-to first one, but I'm pretty sure you can just go anywhere in the world because they're all unlocked. All the doors are there.
Here's the scary thing about that. I hear that. I haven't played the game yet. One of the things about Zelda is that, or that particular game, is that it was very much story driven, right? Like, you're going here because this is a part of this, and it take me to this town, and sometimes that was just because you didn't have those items, that not the same effect that you're doing it this way. So how does the story tie into that? Do they take liberties with how they're telling a story, or are like certain events happening after you say defeat 3 dungeons? It doesn't matter what dungeons. Like, how does the story progress, or is it just not really about the story, I guess?
Like, I've only done 1 dungeon, so I'm not sure if the story is different, but I know that when I completed the first one, you got the thing that you were in the dungeon for, which is why there's 6 or 7 dungeons, however many it is, and there's a little bit of exposition. And then when you go back into the Dark World, one of the central characters like speaks to you and says some blah 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 blah, and then you can just go do whatever you want.
Okay. So
I don't know if it has too much of an impact on the story. Like I said, I'm only 1 dungeon into the Dark World, and I think that's like the 3rd or 4th dungeon in the entire game. The other thing that I have, and I haven't looked to see how long it is, but I worry that the game is too short.
Oh.
Because I just did the first dungeon in the Dark World, and there's 5 more to go. And from my understanding is that's it. And then there's the final dungeon and the final boss. So I'm a little bit worried that it might be too short. But it is a handheld game, so I don't know.
I don't even remember how long A Link to the Past was, to be honest with you.
I want to say it was...
I think that there's a lot to do in the game, so I could have played it longer. And, of course, I played the game multiple times. Back then, that's what we did.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm very curious about that myself. I guess I'll just have to experience how the actual
22 hours is what people are reading. That's much longer than I was expecting. Maybe I'm just like fucking speed running these dungeons or something, but it seems a lot. Or maybe time is just passing faster than I think it is or something. I don't know. Combat's great. It actually feels like it was designed like I don't the combat in all these other 3DS games I'm not the biggest fan of, at least when it comes to action games. It feels very fucking good in this. I want to say that it's 60 FPS.
Oh.
Which I've read somewhere on a forum, but I can't confirm that myself. I didn't look into that, but hopefully I'm not misquoting and giving wrong or false information there. But looks great, feels great, combat's awesome, story is a Zelda, so you know what to expect there. It's always the same story basically, and they have a lot of cool mechanics in it. I want to see more of the game. So
Awesome.
I've heard the dungeons also get even more complex than what I've already seen. So I really want to see
Confirmed by
that.
chat, 60 FPS, by the way.
Cool.
If chat confirms it, it's got to be true.
Yep. So if you have
Gotta be.
3DS, it is 100% the system seller of the 3DS this holiday.
And if you want to get the Target deal, you're probably not going to get the Zelda version, but they do have the other.
Target deal is what, $50 and you get Zelda, or $150 and you get Zelda as well.
You don't get Zelda unless you get the Zelda one. That's why. But they counted the Zelda one as the bundle. So you're still just getting a really good deal on a 3DS.
It's just not as good of a deal because you'd get Zelda with it.
Correct. If you can find it, you need to go out and get that shit now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's at Target.
That's
Target's actually been winning in terms of the sales. This, from what I've been watching all the sales, obviously. I got an iPad Air 2 days ago, $475, and you get a $100 gift card. That's pretty fucking good deal, man.
Yeah, that's not bad, man. That's not bad at all.
I almost got 2 of them, and I was like, why do I don't need 2 of these. Why? That's stupid. But I'll probably give it away as a gift. But yeah.
They
good.
still had a lot of stuff. So I got to tell this one story because, like, you know, I don't really do the Black Friday thing, right? Cyber Monday, that's all me. But occasionally I'll just still keep my eyes open. You know, did that thing. So I'm like, I'll go in the morning if I think it's worthwhile. This woman walked in and she was like, "Do you still have any of those $70 Nooks?" And the guy looked at her and, you know, I mean, obviously he's probably answered the question 1,000 times. And he's like, "Ma'am, I'm sorry. Like, they all got sold out last night during the big rush." And she just looks at this guy and gives him the biggest, like, "Well, you can go fuck yourself and die" look. And then she's like, and just stomps off, like stomping her feet. And you have got to be shitting me.
Oh my God.
You know, so yeah.
I went one Black Friday 4 years ago. And this was before stores started opening on Thanksgiving at like 8 o'clock at night or whatever. So we showed up to a Walmart this was in San Antonio, showed up to a Walmart at 5 a.m.
Oh, man.
I have never seen people just act like the fucking lizard part of their brain just goes in and they want that TV so goddamn bad. There's just people running for this like this shitty fucking 42-inch, $300 terrible LCD, and people are just like fucking diving head first at this stack of TVs for no reason.
Yeah.
And it is just nonsense. Is that really a website?
This is really a website. It looks like we have not had any incidents, at least reported yet, as of 2013. But dating at least back to 2006, it looks like we've had 4 deaths and 67 injuries over deals that are actually not that great, but for whatever reason, people still insist on doing it. Be safe. Cyber Monday's where it's at, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
The South Park episode, by the way, is apparently fucking hilarious because it's Game of Thrones with Black Friday talking about the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 release.
Oh,
and I really need to watch it.
I need to watch it. That sounds amazing already.
My roommate was telling me about it, and he said it was just so fucking funny. So I'm excited.
So the only other game that I'm going to talk about and I've talked about it before again, that is on my list that's not a PS4 or an Xbox One title is Strife. So they ran a thing at DreamHack. Of course, Strife is the MOBA that's coming out by S2 Games, and they ran a thing at DreamHack where they basically opened their servers and gave everyone a key. So I've been playing like on the EU servers, but which is surprisingly good actually against like DreamHack people. But the game is still fun. I'm gonna play a little bit more this weekend, and hopefully streaming will happen soon. But it's still quite interesting to me, and I feel like even the engine that I'm playing now that I played, or the graphics that I played now versus just not too long ago, have already improved just in this one build. So pretty impressive stuff. But the game,
I was looking at something else.
No, the game, it's one of those things where sometimes you play a game and you're just like, okay, that's cool, like move on to the next one. But it's definitely keeping my interest. So I don't know, like right now I'm obviously in the process of like learning Dota 2, and this is a nice, more I think relaxed experience that Dota 2 is, and still like both of them. But it's pretty good, JP. It's a lot of fun.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. So,
are you able to talk? Like, is it open?
Yeah,
is there an NDA on it, or?
So there is an NDA on sort of the closed alpha, but I actually got word that I was okay to at least stream it, and so I'm guessing that means that I can just talk about it.
So what is it enough of a difference from like all the other MOBAs? Like what is the one unique dynamic about this, or what are they trying to separate themselves from everything else? Like how is that done?
So I would say the biggest separation from everyone else is that there's that first off, the map is a lot smaller than any of the other games, and so it emphasizes combat, because you can move between lanes pretty quickly. Okay. So I would say that's the biggest draw to it, that it emphasizes on combat. And they emphasize on that even more by doing things like shared gold. So last hit's still important, but as a support, you actually mean something because you don't have to spend your time warding, because they have like vision towers that you can get. So they really want you to just be fighting a lot, which makes it fun, right? Because anytime you're like, you're definitely fighting more than you're farming, which is pretty nice. But yeah. I think that's the biggest separation from it. I like the sort of more condensed map. It doesn't seem, when you look at the mini map and shit, like it's that condensed. But the moment you run off your well and you get to your lane pretty quickly, you sort of understand, like, okay, I get it. But they've tried to do a lot of things to take the good things from League, take the good things from Dota, take the good things from Han. Everyone has like a personal courier. So they want you to be out on the field, but they don't want it to be such an experience where you have to like share one courier amongst,
Is there denying? Can you deny your creeps?
There's no denying.
Is there a merchant, like a shop, to buy items and stuff?
There's a shop, and the shop plays a pretty integral part in sort of how they let you customize your own player. And or your own character. I won't like go into too much detail, but like because I'll probably show a little bit of it this weekend, JP. But like, if there's, let's say you're a mage, right, and you're a nuker, and there is an item that by default gives you mana regeneration and also increases your power a little bit. But let's say I'm a nuker that needs a little bit more hit points. So what I can do is I can take this base item and I can say, instead of the extra power, I'm going to like move a little health crystal in here. And so then the health crystal, you craft this item, and then it's the same item that costs the same amount of money, but you've just sort of customized it to the way that you would play X character.
Sure.
So, I mean, there's a lot more to it than that. And it can get pretty complex in that you could say, I want the same item, but I want to put a better mana regeneration into it. So the cost will adjust accordingly. But it's pretty awesome that you can really tailor a character that way versus something like rune pages, which are more like, this is just the way that everyone plays this one character.
Right.
Something like that from League. Because like I want to be able to have more mana just so I can play, spells all the time. That's my style of playing. So you can, go that route. Really some interesting approaches to it. I mentioned when I first talked about this game, to me, one of the more interesting things is what happens when a company who's made a game, who's had some successes, who's also fucked up a couple of times, like what do they bring to the table when they're making a game and have all those experiences to put in there? It's an interesting idea, I guess, or a question that's going to be answered here pretty soon. I believe the game's going to go open beta soon, but they've been pretty tight-lipped about that. So I've heard all sorts of dates,
cool.
but early this summer.
Well, I'll have to check it out. I'm intrigued now. I want to see how that's done, especially after going to BlizzCon and playing Heroes of the Storm and seeing how that's done. Which, just to speak on that, cause I guess we haven't had an episode since BlizzCon, right? Is that correct?
Dude.
We had our 24-hour stream.
Yeah, it was. I think it was the first. Yeah, well, yeah, including the 24-hour stream. By the way, I'm gonna try to.
Did you didn't have a chance to play Heroes at all, right? You were chained to that desk.
I was chained to that damn desk, JP.
I played about 4 hours of it. I played about 4 hours of it at BlizzCon.
Dude, tell me a little bit about it.
I mean, I question if it has the ability to be competitive. That's not to say it's a bad game or et cetera, et cetera. In fact, I had a fucking blast playing it. But I just don't know how it's going to work as a competitive game. There's no denying of creeps. From what I could gather, granted, I was just playing casually and more with friends while I was not playing with a headset, etc. So I didn't really get into the mechanics of the game. But I think your team levels up as a
together.
Team.
Yeah. I heard this as well.
Interesting. I played it purely as what do they call them in this game? Stitches. I think that's Pudge.
Oh, right.
I think that's what the original Pudge is, or was called. So like he has his hook and all that stuff. I was playing as him 100%. The leveling is very interesting in the fact that you start off with all your skills, but your skills get better as you level up by what you're choosing. Like they give you 3 or maybe it's 4 choices. It's been a while now since I've played. And you can choose any of those and they'll upgrade sometimes your HP, sometimes your ability power, sometimes the actual ability itself. So I think it might, I don't know if, I don't think they're going for a hardcore approach, but I think it might be super casual. And if it is, it's fine because I had a fun time playing with people, just messing around in a very quick, not too hardcore of a game. Each map that I played had like little unique aspects to it that for example, you collect gold or
almost
something.
Almost like a story-esque.
Kinda, yeah,
like the pirate one I saw.
The pirate one, you
Booty
collect
Bay,
gold and you pay the pirate gold, and then he spawns a ship that has like artillery on it in the center of the map, and it'll attack stuff and help you kind of progress your creeps forward and whatnot. There's no shop in the game, so you can't buy items.
You kind of upgrade through a tree, right? So you make your So it sounds like, and I heard a lot of people say this, so tell me what you think. A lot of people are saying Heroes of the Storm is kind of like a MOBA, but they took WoW arena aspects and sort of the way that you would level up, and it is kind of combat driven. Is that is it like an arena?
I mean, it's I wouldn't say it's an arena so much because the map's pretty massive and it does take some time to go from lane to lane. There are defined lanes in the map. There's middle, top, and bottom, and at least 2 of the maps. I didn't play the 3rd map. I just never got onto those PCs that it separated by PC which map you played on. So I don't know. I want to see more. I want to play more of it to understand really the full mechanics of it, and I'm sure you can find all that information out. I'm sure there's very, very detailed explanations of Heroes of the Storm out there, which you can go read. It was kind of crazy to see like Jim Raynor fighting Diablo with Kerrigan in the background with the Lich King on the opposite side. Like that was definitely a little bit interesting. I think the coolest, and I didn't play him. Who did? I think Toki, the artist, played him. Do you remember in the Abathur? I think is his name, from the StarCraft 2 single player, from Heart of the Swarm, the evolution upgrade for Kerrigan.
The funny guy, right?
Yeah. So he's like a hero in the game, which seems really left field, but it's actually kind of cool.
Does he mimic other people's spells and shit?
I did not play him, so I do not know what he actually does. All I know is that Stitches was pretty overpowered because of his hook, and when I played with Tally, he was playing the Lich King, and man, Cindergosa is fucking OP. It's his ult. It's like giant Frostworm Dragon comes in and just lays down this path of ice, slowing everything and doing so much damage. It's really broken.
The game
also, the
does
character
look
models
dope.
are massive.
Yeah, God, Jesus, yeah, they are. Holy shit.
Some are massive, some are obviously smaller and whatnot.
It's very interesting. Huh. Yeah,
So
I don't know if I don't like about the whole competitive aspect. I don't know that I even care, dude. You know, honestly, I just want to have fun. That's it. That's like, you know, like, yes, I'm in the esports stuff, and I'm just to the point where it's like, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, right? The competitive community, it builds itself. I kind of just want to have fun. Yeah.
Blizzard's approach is, if you have fun in a game and want to make it competitive, there are ways to do that.
Sure.
Otherwise, we're in the business of making fun games, and that's kind of what I mean. Look at Hearthstone. Like, they did not have any care in the world of making that competitive, and then 100,000 people showed up and watched it at BlizzCon.
Yeah,
so.
and look at the fact that there's every weekend now a Hearthstone tournament, and there's you know, and TL is doing stuff like that. That was it. I don't know if they did it all. I bet they were like, man, we hope people buy some packs. Well, it's like, shit, man. I'm so tired of talking to people who are like, I spent $500 on Hearthstone. Dude, what about you?
I really wonder if that game has eclipsed WoW in monthly revenue as a beta.
As a beta, dude.
As a fucking beta. I really wonder what the average amount of money spent across its player base right now.
I'm telling you,
it's got to be at least like $100.
I feel like it's got to be $100 to $200. I really, really, really do. I really do. I don't know. All right.
I mean, I spent like 80. I don't know. So we'll see. Blizzard does a good job at making fun games, and then the competitive communities kind of form around that. So we'll see whenever that thing goes into closed beta, friends and family, blah blah blah. Because I don't know when it's going.
I hope soon, but I don't know. I spent
right now they've got the new Diablo expansion in beta, so they'll probably wait till that.
Fucking up the curves, cute Zergling. Thanks a lot. Spending $0, so it's actually like, no, actually the average price is only $28.
Oh, maybe we just know all these rich people that just throw money at games. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, shit. Should we talk about next gen?
Well, we still got Mario to talk about.
Oh, shit.
But before I even do that, did you see? You hated Diablo 3, right? You were not a fan of Diablo 3.
Well, I would say that I enjoyed my experience of going through it and killing Diablo and going.
So same as me. You got to 60 the first day, and you're just like, yeah, for this fucking.
Yes, yeah, there you go.
That's how it was for me. Man, the expansion looks good.
Oh, really?
It might suck me back into that game, man.
Did Blizzard just like stealth release a beta? Is that what happened?
So it was in friends and family, and they sent it to like all these big streamers.
Okay.
And then one day on Twitch, I'm watching Crip with 20,000 people watching him, and he's just messing around in the new Diablo. And Mods was streaming, King Kongor was streaming, like all these big Diablo streamers were all playing the new expansion. I was like, where the fuck did this come from? Like, I didn't even know.
Yeah, it just was out of nowhere. I was.
It is very, right now it seems that, like, Diablo 3's original endgame sucked, in my opinion. Now it seems like the entire endgame is just this massive amounts of loot farming. Almost to where, like, Crip had it down to a fucking science the other day, where he was getting, like, 11 or 13 legendaries an hour, and like just straight up destroying the hardest content in the game and getting like incredible. Like, I think he almost had every legendary in the game within 4 or 5 days. So yeah, they don't have the final boss in there. The new content looks cool. I like what they've done with like actually the game and how that works, where there's like adventure mode where you can go do all that other stuff. But I think it looks pretty cool. Mini-Wheat's excited. He got a second.
Yeah, he is. How the Huskers doing, Mini-Wheat?
They scored 3.
What's the score? What's the score?
Huskies had
3-7.
No, it's 3-13.
Oh, okay, 3-13. Okay, all right. Good job. Thanks for the report. Sorry, JP.
No.
No. What?
I just need one question.
What?
Which guy in Hearthstone has the void monsters?
Which guy in Hearthstone has the void monsters? The shaman.
Yeah.
Look at Mini-Wheat, man. Well, so remember I told you my brother was playing Hearthstone? That like out of all the people,
warlocks. What are you talking
what?
about?
Oh yeah, it's warlock, Mini-Wheat.
I was like, why did you just lie to your son, Wheat? That's terrible.
Sorry, you're right. It's warlock. All right, well, my brother. I would have trolled my brother anyway, and that's who it was for ultimately. So.
Whatever.
My ignorance has resulted in a very successful troll, JP. So.
It's the shaman, damn it.
And you know what? Once you tell Mini-Wheat something, once you tell Mini-Wheat something, like he'll stick with it. Craig will be like, I don't know. No, listen, it is. So that was my fail.
Oh man, that was.
Why'd
funny.
you lie to your kid? Well, you know what? I am equipped. I am wearing my Kappa shirt. So.
All right, let's talk about Mario. Then we'll jump into our first break.
Tell me about the cats.
So we were talking about games that or companies that are in the business of making fun. Super Mario 3D World is fun like that. Just very simple, not anything crazy. It's just a fun fucking game, man. Like, they do a lot of stuff in that game where I'm on world. I think I'm in the last world. I think I'm like level 7-1 or something like that. And I think I've played over 40 levels. Not a single level has been the same. Not a single mechanic has been reused. Every single level is different. It is insane how many ideas these guys have.
Dude, just watch, like, and on the webpage, they don't actually have a video. It's sort of embedded on their page, but it's just crazy. Seriously, the design is
shit in this game, dude. Like, the levels are like, look at that level right. Well, I'm watching with a delay on it, but there's one level where it just opens up into this like giant savanna, and you're just walking around as a cat. And it was one of those moments where it was like, God, this game is fucking gorgeous, which is a strong statement considering that's a Wii U game. And another one where it's just like, God, the game developers of this are so smart and so clever with what they're doing and their field of view and their sense of depth. Like, these are the people that made Mario Galaxy, so obviously they have a very strong understanding of how to make a fun game.
Right. And a game in that style that really does kind of, it takes a lot of the elements that they've introduced so many times over the last few Mario games, but it kind of puts them all together and presents them, in my opinion, like one of the coolest presentations of a Mario game for sure.
Yeah.
Did you only play by yourself then?
Yes.
I'm forever alone.
Yeah, I played the entire game by myself. You can, obviously, there's multiplayer. And that's the one thing, like, it's the one thing that we'll probably never see from Nintendo just because they are a Japanese game company. Like, if they had online co-op in this fucking game,
it would be amazing, right?
It would be insanity levels of amazingness. Like, if I could hop on my Wii U, add you to a game, and then jump into Mario and like we play Mario together without being in the same goddamn room. That's like every Nintendo fanboy's wet dream, man. Like that's the holy grail right there.
It is weird, right? Because probably Nintendo's positioning themselves like, yes, but it's a family experience. Like, why would you want to do that when, you know, you experience it as a family? But
bullshit, our market.
Yeah, I agree, because it is something that we just kind of take for granted on our other consoles, right? Like, I mean, you're never going, we'll get 8 of our friends together and play Battlefield. It'll be great. No, you're going online, you play Call of Duty, whatever. It's just, why are they still so behind on something like that? And maybe, I don't know, technology behind it. I don't know. We can't make it perfect, therefore we can't do it. But it seems to be that one thing. It's like, why is this missing?
Oh, yeah, that's true. I hope that didn't just get a cease and desist to my YouTube later when we upload that, which is another.
It's their webpage, man.
I know. I was just thinking about that. I was like, shit.
It's their webpage.
That's the other thing is Nintendo's like, they make great games, but God, they are so archaic, or in this world of, it's just stupidity. But regardless, the game is great. Like, I cannot. Like, Zelda's a good game. It is a great game. There are just, there's moments in the game where they do things that are so smart and so different and so unique and like only could be done in a Mario game, and they're fucking great. There's a lot of cats everywhere to speak to that. There's also a ton of different new suits, like a ton of different new suits.
JP, I just went to their media gallery on the page. I have to show this. Nintendo has created memes for this game.
Have they really?
Yeah. I'm not in another castle. I am sleeping on your laptop. Almost at the flagpole, gets distracted by a laser pointer.
What? They even made it transparent PNGs. What the hell?
That's what it looks like. No one will stomp at me now because I'm so cute. I'm sure these are just a sensation. I'm sure.
What's the last one? The world is my
playground. Oh, look, an empty bag.
Oh, my God.
All right, marketing department, we've got a hell of a job for you. Come up with some memes that will go viral on the Reddits and the interwebs. Yeah. But the game's great.
Game is
memes not so fantastic. Great.
Game's not fantastic. So great. There's a lot of cats everywhere. Like, there's also, you tell me, because as far as I can remember, the suit never existed. There's a suit where you turn into one of those, like, you know, the Koopas that have the boomerangs or whatever?
Yeah, yeah.
You turn into one of those. Has that existed before?
I think there has been.
Is that in like Super Mario World?
A Hammer Brothers suit.
I don't remember ever seeing it. And then the other one is the cherry, which spawns a replica of you, but you still control 2 at the same time. Like, they both take the same movement. You can get up to 5
at once, right?
So like, there's 5 of you.
Yeah, there was a Hammer Brothers suit, but there wasn't a boomerang suit.
Okay, there's a Hammer Brothers suit. Yeah. Yeah, so fuck it. If you like Mario, like, it's probably the first game that I think is worthy of buying a Wii U for. Like, I will actually go out there and say that, like.
Well, that's good, because I think that Lego City Undercover is a good game to add to that then. I don't know if it's worth getting the whole system for, but if you were to say this game's worth it, and you know what, this game's pretty rad too, you should check it out.
The cool thing is too that Wii U's are not hard to find. They're a hell of a lot cheaper than next gen, and you're probably going to get even more good games in 2014 because the other consoles still have about a year before like the developers catch up in terms of having worthwhile games on there. Well, maybe March will be a good wave of games as well. But like, people have been asking me like PS4 or Xbox One right now, and the answer is, well, do you have a PC that's good? And if the answer is yes, then I say go buy Wii U and get Mario. Like, it's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
Bayonetta 2, guys.
Bayonetta 2 will come out. Yeah.
One day it'll maybe come out.
What is like the next big first party game for them? Have they said?
I don't know.
I guess there's nothing.
I'm sure there's like a new Kirby or something coming.
Oh, well, something's being teased actually at the VGX Awards or whatever. Nintendo's going to be there with some sort of trailer.
Oh, they have the new Smash Brothers.
Oh, that's right, new Smash Brothers, yeah.
But
there's probably a Zelda coming. There's got to be a new Zelda coming.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they tease. They'll either tease that or more likely they'll tease Smash Brothers at the VGX Awards at Spike. And I think it's like December 7th.
That wouldn't be much of a... Oh, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
Oh.
That looks...
Man, if they dropped a Metroid, like a 1080...
How long's it been?
It's been a long fucking time. I think... Was it Echoes? No, that was the last handheld.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah, none of these look like...
That's the other thing, too, Wheat. This game runs at 1080p 60.
So it looks good, huh?
See a Mario game run at 1080p 60? It is amazing looking. Like, it looks just fucking incredible. All of the characters are, like, beautifully rendered, and I've not had any hiccups with the actual engine, or it never drops 60 FPS. Granted, it's not, like, pushing that much, but... And it only was... I want to say it was only like 1600 MB or some shit.
Oh, because you just downloaded it?
Yeah, I downloaded it. I wasn't going to go buy it in store.
Nice.
And it came out the same day as the Xbox One. And the entire time, I would have rather had been playing Mario over anything that I played on the Xbox One.
Wow. Well, don't go too much into that because we...
Yeah, let's take our break.
Let's take our break. When we come back, it's time to talk about the PS4, talk about the Xbox One, and talk about the fact that the fight has officially begun. You've played both of them. I've got plenty of questions for you. Of course, I think a lot of people watched the PS4 24-hour stream we did, which thank you for that. It was a lot of fun. But, yeah, we got a lot to talk about when we return. So, guys, thanks for joining us for our first hour. When we come back, we've got more 8-Bits. Don't go away.